Hey everyone, I am Nate Bramley here with Xbox Australia and New Zealand, and today I am joined by Rod Fergusson from the Coalition. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
How are you going so far?
It's been an amazing week. You know, we had an amazing time on stage on Sunday.
Yeah.
Got to announce the date, September 10th. We got to debut Escape. We get to talk about the Terminator Dark Fate in collaboration, so it's been a good week.
The crowd went wild when we saw the Terminator, because I think there was maybe like a seed of doubt of people thinking that it was, but then once it's on the screen, you can't doubt any further.
Right. Yeah, it's super exciting, you know, and the notion we get to work with, you know, it's a James Cameron movie with him producing, right, and Tim Miller directing, but just to see Sarah Connor again, you know, and her story is so much like Kate's story, this idea of like the civilian who becomes the warrior. And so when you think about Sarah's journey, it's very much like Kate's journey. So I felt like a really natural partnership.
So you did mention like injecting your own stamp on the game sort of thing. What is it like trying to balance that push of the Gears title as well as like keeping it true to the franchise?
Yeah, it's really tricky. I mean, I talk about this notion of betrayal of expectations.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I don't betray them at all, then you go like, oh, that's the same game I played last time. Why did I even buy this new one? And if I betray them too much, you go like, well, it's not even Gears anymore.
I don't like change. I can't deal with this.
Exactly. I don't want to play this game. It's not even Gears. And so you have to find this middle ground where you betray them enough that you get this sort of, you know, surprise and delight moment.
So what do you think is the most important part of your role?
There's a couple things. I think one is like I've been making Gears of War since like 2005.
Yes.
So I'm sort of I try to keep the battle standard held high and allow people to sort of rally behind a vision. And so that if I can do anything on a day-to-day basis, just provide clarity.
Yes.
And so the team is like, I have a lot of very talented, passionate, dedicated people. And so if I can just provide some clarity, I will have done my job. On a personal level, just in terms of job satisfaction, I'm very involved in the story and work on the scripts, and I direct the VO and work with the actors. And so that notion is like when the story feels really good and when you feel like the character performances are really strong, that's something I really love.
Gears has been a staple when it comes to esports for years. So will we see anything Gears 5 and esports come launch or anything?
Oh, for sure.
Yes?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's something we really started at the Coalition. We had, you know, when we took back over the franchise, we said, okay, Gears 1, 2, and 3 really didn't even pay attention to professional sports, you know, esports. And so we were like, okay, we're going to pick this up and we're going to actually learn. And so we had this sort of idea of a crawl, walk, run. So with Ultimate Edition, we're going to crawl. With Gears 4, we're going to walk and, you know, and learn as we go. And then hopefully by Gears 5, we can be running. And so that's what I talked about on stage, but our new mode Arcade.
Yes.
And so we'll be debuting that in July as part of our tech test. So everybody who's got Game Pass or pre-orders can play in our tech test. They'll get to play Arcade and see it. And it's really more of a, hey, you know, wall bouncing, shotgunning is fun, but sometimes you kind of just want to enjoy Gears in a different way. Yeah. And Arcade lets you do that.
Perfect. So, and one final question. So everyone has kind of a woe moment in video games.
Sure.
What is your woe moment?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, there's been lots of very emotional moments, especially in the Gears world. Like the first time we made the Maria scene work, like the first time when we put music in, that was sort of, as a developer, that was a woe moment. But in terms of like, say, a competitor's game or another game, I had a woe moment with like Uncharted 2. And so that was when I first really saw performance capture come to life. And there's in the opening of the game, there's a scene where the two of them are talking on the boat, and Nathan's moving this cooler on the boat, and he reaches down, and as he's talking, he sort of grunts through the line as he lifts the cooler. And there was a real connection for me about that idea of like being able to tie the effort and the exertion of the movement with the dialogue. You know, because a lot of times, like, especially in Gears 1, 2, and 3, we separated dialogue and movement in separate, like we recorded them separately. And so there were some places where you try to make it artificial, or you do it after the fact, but we never really had that organic nature to it. And so that's why we went, like, Gears 5 is the first time we've ever done performance capture. And so that was something that was inspired by, like, that whoa moment. And when you look at what we showed at E3 last year, when Kate comes running in and Del grabs her and stops her from getting to the dead body, like that was all done in performance capture, because we're like, oh, they're actually bumping into each other. There's going to be exertion. While they're talking. And so you always are getting pushed by seeing what other people are doing, and you go like, well, I mean, even like Red Dead now, and you just play Red Dead and you just go like, I don't even know how you make that game. Like that's just like, even as you're just like, I've been making games for 18 years, and you go like, I don't even know how you would make
Tell
that.
me your secrets. Why won't you tell me?
Yeah, there's obviously some wizard back there who's just, there's not actually a team, there's just a wizard. But it's that kind of stuff where you just see other studios do amazing things, and that just sort of lifts the industry and then it inspires you.
Yeah, but no, that is it. Thank you so very much for your time.